Listen up. Most people go through life half asleep, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for motivation, waiting for someone to tell them it's time. But the truth is, no one's coming. No one's going to save you. The only thing that will separate you from the weak, from the average, from the ones who quit is discipline. Not motivation, not talent, not luck. Just raw, unbreakable discipline. Every single day, you have two choices. Stay the same or level up. That's it. And let me tell you something. Comfort is the enemy. The moment you choose comfort over growth, you've already lost. The one habit that will make you unstoppable is showing up every damn day. When you're tired, when you're broken, when every part of you is screaming to stop, you show up. You do the work. You push past the pain, because the only thing that truly matters is that you keep moving forward. Nobody cares how you feel. Nobody cares if you're tired. Winners don't stop when they're tired. Winners stop when they're done. Think about the greats, the ones who actually changed the game. You think they waited to feel like it? You think they had it easy? No. They got up when the alarm went off. They hit the pavement when it was cold. They trained when no one was watching. They showed up when no one believed in them. That's what makes you unstoppable. That's what separates the strong from the weak. You want success? Then show me your habits. Show me how you work when no one's watching. Show me how you push when the world counts you out. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how fast, how smart, or how talented you are. It's about how relentless you are. It's about never backing down, never making excuses, never stopping when it gets hard. Every morning you wake up, you have a choice. Be the person who gives up, or be the person who does whatever it takes. So what's it going to be? Discipline over motivation. This is the foundation of everything. The reason most people fail is because they wait to feel ready. Wait to feel inspired. Wait for that perfect moment when everything lines up. But that moment never comes. The truth is, motivation is a fleeting emotion. It's unreliable, inconsistent, and disappears the moment things get tough. Discipline, on the other hand, is the steel backbone that separates those who succeed from those who quit. It's the ability to show up and execute regardless of how you feel. It's the ability to push forward even when your mind is screaming at you to stop. It's the difference between the person who talks about success and the person who actually lives it. Most people don't understand what discipline really means. They think it's about willpower, about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. But discipline isn't about force. It's about making a decision that you will do what needs to be done no matter what. It's not about feelings, not about circumstances, not about whether it's convenient. It's about doing the work because it has to be done. It's about setting a standard for yourself that is non-negotiable. The kind of standard that says, I don't care if I'm tired, I don't care if I'm sore, I don't care if it's raining, I don't care if I feel like quitting, I get it done. Every single person who has achieved something extraordinary in life understands this principle. They understand that if they relied on motivation, they would never have made it. Because there are days when you don't feel like getting up early. There are days when your body hurts, when your mind is exhausted, when doubt creeps in and whispers that it's okay to take it easy. Discipline is what shuts that voice down. Discipline is what gets you out of bed before the sun rises. Discipline is what makes you put in extra hours when everyone else has gone home. Discipline is what keeps you going when every cell in your body is telling you to quit. There are no shortcuts. There is no easy way. There is no secret formula. If you want to be successful, if you want to be unstoppable, you have to embrace the grind. You have to be willing to suffer, to sacrifice, to push through when most people would give up. Because that's what separates the elite from the average. The elite don't make excuses. They don't rely on feelings. They don't need someone to remind them why they started. They know that success is built in the trenches, in the moments when no one is watching, when no one is cheering them on. They know that discipline is the price of greatness. Most people are trapped in a cycle of inconsistency. They start something with excitement. They feel good for a few days, maybe even a few weeks. But then life happens. The excitement fades. The routine becomes boring. The grind feels endless. And that's where they fall off. That's where they make excuses. That's where they convince themselves that they'll start again tomorrow, next week, next month. But that's a lie. Tomorrow turns into next week, which turns into next year, which turns into never. And they wonder why they're stuck. They wonder why they never see results. They wonder why they keep failing. It's because they never built the discipline to push through when the excitement was gone. Discipline is a habit. It's something you build brick by brick, day by day. It's something you train like a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets. The more you commit to it, the easier it becomes. It starts with small decisions. Waking up at the time you said you would, following through on your commitments, keeping promises to yourself even when no one else would know if you broke them, because that's where discipline is built. Not in big, dramatic moments, but in the small daily choices that add up over time. When you operate on discipline instead of motivation, you become dangerous. You become relentless. You become the kind of person who doesn't stop, doesn't slow down, doesn't back down. You become the kind of person who others look at and wonder, how do they do it? Because while they were waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for motivation to strike, you were out there grinding. You were out there putting in the work. You were out there proving that success isn't about talent, luck, or genetics. It's about discipline. People will look at you and think you have some special gift. They'll think you were born with something they don't have. But the truth is, you just made a decision to operate at a different level, a decision to hold yourself to a higher standard, a decision to stop making excuses and start making progress. And that's the thing. Discipline is a choice. You either choose to be disciplined or you choose to be average. There is no in between. There will always be people who say they want success, who talk about their dreams, who make big plans for their future, but very few of them will actually put in the work. Very few of them will actually do what it takes. Because discipline isn't sexy. It isn't fun. It isn't easy. It's waking up when you don't feel like it. It's putting in the extra reps when your muscles are screaming. It's studying when you'd rather be relaxing. It's saying no to distractions, to temptations, to anything that takes you off course. It's sacrificing comfort for greatness. And that's why so many people fail. Because they don't want to pay the price. They don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to push through pain. But success doesn't care about what you want. It doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't care about your excuses. It only rewards those who are disciplined enough to do what needs to be done day in and day out, no matter what. If you want to change your life, if you want to reach your full potential, if you want to be the best at what you do, you have to kill the idea that motivation is what's going to get you there. You have to rewire your mind to understand that motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. That motivation will fail you, but discipline will carry you. That motivation will come and go, but discipline will be there when you need it most. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for everything to feel right, because if you keep waiting, you'll never start. And if you never start, you'll never win. Comfort is the enemy. Most people spend their entire lives seeking it, chasing it, doing everything they can to avoid discomfort. They want the easy path, the shortcut, the way that requires the least amount of pain, but that's exactly why they stay stuck. That's exactly why they never grow, never improve, never become anything more than what they already are. Comfort is a slow killer. It creeps in silently, making you weaker, making you softer, making you believe that you don't need to push yourself any further. It tells you that you're fine where you are, that you've done enough, that you deserve a break. And the moment you buy into that lie, you lose. Growth only happens when you step outside of comfort. It happens when you willingly put yourself in situations that force you to adapt, to evolve, to fight. It happens when you expose yourself to hardship and refuse to back down. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The ones who succeed understand that pain is necessary. They understand that struggle is the price of progress. They understand that if they're comfortable, they're not growing. They don't look for the easy way out. They look for resistance. They look for the challenge. They look for the situations that will test them, push them, break them down so they can build themselves back up stronger. The human body and mind are designed to adapt. You were not meant to stay in the same place forever. You were not meant to settle. You were built to push, to overcome, to break past your limits. But most people never tap into that potential because they've trained themselves to avoid discomfort at all costs. They take the path of least resistance in everything they do. They avoid hard work. They avoid difficult conversations. They avoid situations that make them feel uncertain or afraid. And then they wonder why their lives never change. They wonder why they're stuck in the same cycle, facing the same problems, never getting any closer to the life they say they want. The truth is, nothing worth having comes from comfort. Every single person who has achieved greatness in any area of life got there by embracing discomfort. The best athletes push themselves to the point of exhaustion every single day. The best entrepreneurs take risks that most people are too afraid to take. The best leaders put themselves in situations where they're constantly challenged, constantly questioned, constantly forced to grow. They don't wait until they feel ready. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait for a perfect situation. They dive headfirst into the fire because they know that's where real growth happens. Most people have never actually tested their limits. They've never pushed themselves to the edge of what they're capable of. They've never put themselves in a position where quitting is not an option. And because of that, they have no idea what they're truly capable of. They think they're tired when they've barely scratched the surface of exhaustion. They think they're working hard when they're only operating at 50% of their potential. They think they're pushing themselves when in reality, they're still playing it safe. They have no clue what it actually means to go all in, to give everything they have, to put themselves in a position where failure is not an option. Comfort breeds weakness. The more comfortable you become, the weaker you get. Every time you choose the easy path, you make yourself a little softer. Every time you avoid discomfort, you train yourself to be weaker. Every time you back down from a challenge, you reinforce the habit of quitting. And over time, that becomes who you are. You become the person who always takes the easy way out, the person who always finds an excuse, the person who talks about what they want but never does what it takes to get it, the person who settles for less than they're capable of. If you want to be better, you have to make a decision to stop choosing comfort, a decision to stop backing down, a decision to put yourself in situations that force you to grow, even when it's painful, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel like it. You have to wake up every day and make the choice to be better than you were yesterday. You have to put yourself through hell if you want to be strong enough to handle whatever life throws at you. Most people want success, but aren't willing to do what it takes. They want to be in shape, but they don't want to suffer in the gym. They want to be wealthy, but they don't want to grind for years with no results. They want to be great, but they don't want to go through the fire. And that's why they stay average, because they don't understand that comfort and growth cannot exist in the same place. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. And if you're growing, you're not comfortable. It's that simple. The most successful people in the world are the ones who have trained themselves to be comfortable being uncomfortable. They have trained themselves to thrive in situations that would break most people. They have trained themselves to push through the moments when their body and mind are telling them to stop. That's the difference between winners and losers. Losers quit when it gets hard. Winners keep going. Losers look for an excuse. Winners look for a way through. Losers choose comfort. Winners choose pain, struggle, and growth. Every time you feel like quitting, every time you feel like backing down, every time you hear that little voice in your head telling you to take it easy, you have a choice. You can listen to that voice and stay the same, or you can silence it and level up. You can choose to be like everyone else, or you can choose to be different. You can choose to be weak, or you can choose to be unstoppable. The road to success is brutal. It will test you in ways you never imagined. It will break you down and make you question whether you have what it takes. It will push you past what you thought were your limits. And that's the point. Because if you can make it through that, if you can keep pushing forward when everything inside you is telling you to stop, you will come out on the other side unrecognizable. You will be stronger, you will be sharper, you will be someone who cannot be broken. Most people never experience that because they quit the moment it gets hard. They stop when they start to feel pain. They give up the second things don't go their way. And that's why they stay the same, because they don't understand that pain is part of the process. Struggle is part of the process. Discomfort is part of the process. You have to rewire your mind to see pain as progress, to see struggle as a sign that you're moving in the right direction, to see discomfort as a necessary part of growth. Because the truth is, every time you step outside of your comfort zone, you become stronger. Every time you push through the pain, you become tougher. Every time you refuse to quit, you build a version of yourself that is unstoppable. You have to be willing to suffer. You have to be willing to go through hell. You have to be willing to put yourself in situations that most people would run from, because that's where greatness is forged. That's where the strongest minds are built. That's where the winners are separated from the losers. The moment you embrace discomfort instead of running from it, the moment you make the decision to do what others won't, you become something different. You become a force that cannot be stopped. Winners don't stop when they're tired. They stop when they're done. That's the difference between the ones who make it and the ones who don't. The ones who make it understand that fatigue is temporary, that pain is just a test, that exhaustion is nothing more than an illusion created by the mind to protect you from discomfort. The weak give in to that illusion. The strong push past it. That's the reality. That's what separates those who dominate from those who make excuses. Most people operate at a fraction of their potential. They think they're giving everything they have, but the truth is, they're stopping the moment things get hard. They're stopping the moment it starts to hurt. They're stopping the moment their body tells them they've had enough. But that's not the real limit. That's just the mind trying to trick them into staying comfortable. The real limit is far beyond that. The real limit is buried under layers of doubt, fear, and weakness that most people never push past. The reason people fail isn't because they don't have what it takes. It's because they stop when it gets hard. They stop when they feel tired. They stop when they convince themselves they've done enough. But winners don't operate like that. Winners push through. Winners keep going. Winners understand that the moment they feel like quitting is the exact moment they need to dig deeper. Because on the other side of that pain is the breakthrough they've been chasing. Tired is just an excuse. Pain is just an excuse. Fatigue is just an excuse. The body will lie to you. The mind will lie to you. It will try to convince you that you've done enough when you haven't. It will try to tell you that you can stop now, that you can rest, that you can take it easy. But that's a test. That's the moment where you prove who you really are. That's the moment where you either break through or break down. That's the moment where you decide whether you're going to be average like everyone else or whether you're going to be something more. Most people never push past that moment. They listen to the voice in their head telling them to slow down. They listen to the doubt creeping in. They listen to the pain screaming at them to stop, and that's why they never reach their full potential. They don't understand that every time they stop early, every time they quit when things get tough, they're training themselves to be weak. They're building the habit of quitting. They're reinforcing the idea that it's okay to stop before the job is done. Winners are different. Winners have trained themselves to keep going no matter what. Winners understand that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. Winners know that every time they push past exhaustion, they're building something inside themselves that can never be broken. They're building mental toughness. They're They're building resilience. They're building an unstoppable mindset that doesn't allow them to back down from anything. It's easy to show up when you're feeling good. It's easy to put in the work when you're motivated. It's easy to keep going when things are going your way. But that's not what defines you. That's not what separates you from the rest. What separates you is what you do when everything in you is telling you to stop. What separates you is how you respond when the pain sets in, when the exhaustion is overwhelming, when your body is begging you to quit. That's when champions are made. That's when you find out who you really are. The body can go far beyond what the mind tells it. The problem is most people never find out. They stop before they even get close. They tap out before they've truly tested their limits. They don't understand that the mind is like a governor on a car, limiting how fast you can go, limiting how much you can push, limiting what you think you're capable of. But if you override that governor, if you push past that artificial limit, you realize that you've barely scratched the surface of what's possible. You see it in elite athletes, in Navy SEALs, in the greatest competitors in the world. They've trained themselves to go beyond exhaustion. They've trained themselves to keep moving when their body is shutting down. They've trained themselves to find another level when most people would have quit a long time ago. That's not genetics. That's not luck. That's a mindset. That's years of conditioning themselves to refuse to stop until the job is done. You have to reprogram your mind to think the same way. You have to train yourself to stop listening to that weak voice inside telling you to quit. You have to push past the discomfort and keep going. Because the truth is, the pain you feel in the moment is nothing compared to the regret of knowing you could have done more. The temporary relief of stopping early is nothing compared to the satisfaction of finishing what you started. There will be days when everything in you tells you to stop. There will be days when you feel like you've given all you have. There will be days when quitting seems like the only option. Those are the days that define you. Those are the days where you either rise or fall. Those are the days where you either prove you're a winner or prove you're just like everyone else. People say they want to be successful, but they're not willing to suffer for it. They're not willing to put themselves through the grind. They're not willing to sacrifice their comfort, their time, their energy to get there. They want it to be easy. They want success without the struggle. But that's not how it works. You don't get to the top by taking shortcuts. You don't become great by stopping when it gets hard. You don't build an unstoppable mindset by giving yourself an out every time you feel tired. Every time you quit early, you're building the habit of quitting. Every time you stop before you're done, you're reinforcing weakness. Every time you choose comfort over the grind, you're choosing to stay the same. And if you keep doing that, if you keep giving in, if you keep letting yourself off the hook, you will never get to where you want to be. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter how much potential you have. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. If you don't have the discipline to keep going when it gets hard, none of it means anything. If you stop when you're tired, if you stop when it's inconvenient, if you stop when it's painful, you will always be stuck in the same place. The only way to win is to keep going. The only way to separate yourself is to push past the point where most people quit. The only way to build the kind of mindset that makes you unstoppable is to refuse to stop until the job is done. It's not about how you feel. It's not about what's easy. It's about whether you're willing to suffer for what you want, whether you're willing to push through every obstacle, whether you're willing to outwork and outlast everyone around you. That's what it takes. That's the price. That's the standard you have to hold yourself to. Pain is the greatest teacher. Most people spend their lives running from it, avoiding it, doing everything they can to keep it at a distance. They numb themselves, distract themselves, and convince themselves that pain is something to be feared. But the truth is, pain is the key to everything you want in life. Pain is the price of growth. Pain is the currency of success. Every person who has ever become something great has paid for it in pain. They have suffered, they have struggled, they have endured more than most people are willing to endure, And that is why they stand at the top while everyone else stays stuck in mediocrity. The problem is that society has trained people to be soft. It has conditioned them to believe that pain is a bad thing, that discomfort is something to be avoided, that struggle means they're doing something wrong. That's why people quit when things get hard. That's why they give up at the first sign of difficulty. That's why they never push past their limits, never test their true potential, never find out what they're really capable of. They've been told that pain is something to run from instead of something to lean into. But the reality is, pain is the path. If you're not willing to suffer, you're not willing to grow. If you're not willing to endure, you're not willing to succeed. Pain is the separator. It's the line that divides those who have what it takes from those who don't. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants to be great. Everyone wants to have the rewards, the results, the achievements. But most people aren't willing to go through the pain that comes with it. They say they want it, but they want it on their terms. They want it without the sacrifice. They want it without the suffering. They want it without the sleepless nights, the exhaustion, the moments of self-doubt, the failures, the setbacks, the struggles. They want the glory without the grind. But that's not how it works. Pain is the entry fee. It is the toll you must pay if you want to reach the other side. Most people tap out the moment pain enters the equation. They feel discomfort and they stop. They feel resistance and they retreat. They fail and they give up. But what they don't realize is that pain is not a stop sign. It's a test. It's a challenge asking you how bad you really want it. It's a threshold separating those who are serious from those who are just pretending. Pain is asking you, are you willing to go through this, or are you going to quit like everyone else? And how you answer that question determines everything about where you end up in life. The ones who make it are the ones who embrace pain. They don't avoid it. They don't complain about it. They don't make excuses. They understand that pain is part of the process, so they welcome it. They see struggle as necessary. They see suffering as proof that they are moving in the right direction. They see discomfort as a sign that they are growing. And because of that, they keep going when most people quit. They push through when most people break. They endure when most people walk away. And that's why they win. That's why they succeed. That's why they become unstoppable. Your relationship with pain determines everything. If you run from it, if you avoid it, if you try to escape it, you will never get anywhere. You will stay in the same place, doing the same things, getting the same mediocre results as everyone else. But if you learn to embrace it, if you learn to use it, if you learn to turn it into fuel, you will become dangerous. You will become someone who cannot be broken. You will become someone who thrives in situations that would destroy most people. And that is where true power comes from. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the key. Pain is the forge that strengthens you. Every time you push through it, you become a little harder. Every time you endure it, you become a little tougher. Every time you refuse to break, you become a little stronger. That is how mental toughness is built. That is how resilience is developed. That is how you separate yourself from the weak, from the quitters, from the people who will never amount to anything, because they never learned how to deal with pain. Most people spend their lives trying to find ways to avoid suffering. They take shortcuts. They look for the easy path. They try to cheat the system. But the truth is, there is no shortcut. There is no way around the pain. There is only through. And the faster you accept that, the faster you will start making progress. Every time you struggle, every time you fail, every time you feel like you've reached your limit, that is an opportunity. That is a moment where you can choose to either break or push forward. And every time you choose to push forward, you get stronger. The strongest people in the world are the ones who have been through the most pain. They are the ones who have suffered the most, who have endured the most, who have fought through the hardest battles. They are the ones who have been knocked down over and over again, but refuse to stay down. That's what separates them from everyone else. It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's the willingness to suffer more than anyone else. It's the ability to keep going when most people would have quit. It's the decision to embrace pain instead of running from it. You have to make a choice. You can be like everyone else, avoiding pain, running from struggle, staying in your comfort zone, and living a life that is safe but meaningless, or you can step into the fire, lean into the pain, embrace the suffering, and build yourself into something unbreakable. You can let pain shape you into the strongest version of yourself. You can use it to push yourself further than you ever thought possible. You can turn it into the fuel that drives you to success. There will be times when it feels like too much. There will be moments where you question whether you can keep going. There will be days where every part of you is screaming to stop. But those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments where you either break or become something greater. Those are the moments where you decide whether you are going to be average or unstoppable. Most people choose the easy way out. They quit before they ever see what they are capable of. They give up before they reach their full potential. They let pain defeat them instead of using it to grow. But if you want to be different, if you want to be better, if you want to be someone who cannot be stopped, you have to train yourself to love pain. You have to train yourself to seek out the struggle. You have to train yourself to thrive in the hardest, most brutal situations, because that is where greatness is built. That is where the strongest minds are forged. That is where you become the kind of person who can take on anything and come out the other side stronger. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is your greatest weapon. Pain is what will separate you from the rest. Pain is what will turn you into something the world has never seen before. Discipline is the foundation of everything. It's the bridge between goals and execution, between dreams and reality, between potential and results. People talk about motivation like it's the key to success, but motivation is nothing. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It's there when you feel good, when things are easy, when the path is clear. But the second things get tough, the second discomfort kicks in, the second the excitement fades, motivation disappears. And that's why people fail. That's why they start something with energy and enthusiasm, only to quit when the reality of the grind sets in. They were depending on motivation. And motivation will always betray you. The only thing you can rely on is discipline. The ability to show up and do what needs to be done, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, no matter how tired, uninspired, or unmotivated you are. Most people don't have discipline. They have habits of convenience. They do things when it's easy, when it's fun, when they feel like it. They work out when they're motivated. They eat clean when it's convenient. They work on their goals when they have extra time. But the second life gets hard, the second things get uncomfortable, the second they don't feel like it, they stop. And that's why they never reach their full potential, because success isn't about doing things when it's easy. It's about doing them when it's hard. It's about showing up on the days when everything in you is telling you not to. It's about being consistent no matter what. That's what discipline is. And that's why discipline is this separator between those who achieve and those who wish. The ones who win in life are the ones who show up every single day, whether they feel like it or not. The ones who train even when they're tired, who work even when they're unmotivated, who push forward even when every fiber of their being is telling them to stop. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't look for excuses. They don't give themselves a way out. They do what needs to be done no matter what. That's what makes them different. That's what makes them unstoppable. Most people think discipline is some kind of punishment. They think it's suffering. They think it's denying themselves pleasure. But discipline isn't suffering. It's freedom. Discipline is what gives you control over your life. When you have discipline, you don't need motivation. You don't need external pressure. You don't need someone else holding you accountable. You become accountable to yourself. You develop the ability to push yourself, to force yourself to do what needs to be done, even when every part of you is resisting. And that is power. Because when you can master yourself, nothing can stop you. People who lack discipline are controlled by their emotions. They do what feels good in the moment. instead of what will get them closer to their goals. They sleep in when they should be training. They eat junk when they should be fueling their body. They scroll on their phone when they should be working. And they wonder why they never make progress. They wonder why they always feel stuck. They wonder why their life never changes. It's because they are slaves to their impulses. They don't control their actions. Their feelings do. And until they break that cycle, they will never achieve anything significant. Discipline is what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not some secret formula. It's the ability to stay consistent no matter what. To push forward even when things get hard. To refuse to give up even when every part of you wants to quit. That's the difference. That's what determines who succeeds and who doesn't. The hardest part about discipline is that no one can give it to you. No one can force you to develop it. No one can make you do the work. You have to decide. You have to choose it every single day. You have to take full responsibility for yourself, for your actions, for your decisions. And most people don't want to do that. They want shortcuts. They want hacks. They want to find some easy way to get results without putting in the work. But there is no easy way. There is only discipline. There is only showing up day in and day out, doing the hard things, doing them even when you don't feel like it, doing them until they become second nature, until they become who you are. Discipline isn't something you have, it's something you build. It's a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And just like a muscle, if you don't use it, it gets weak. Every time you give in to temptation, every time you take the easy way out, every time you let yourself off the hook, you are weakening that muscle. You are reinforcing weakness. You are making it harder for yourself to be disciplined in the future. But every time you push through, every time you do what you said you were going to do, every time you show up even when you don't feel like it, you are reinforcing strength. You are making it easier to be disciplined the next time. You are training yourself to win. You have to start small. You have to prove to yourself that you can be consistent. Wake up at the same time every day, no matter what. Hit the gym, no matter how tired you are. Stick to your commitments, no matter how inconvenient they become. Hold yourself to a standard that most people aren't willing to hold themselves to. And over time, discipline will become who you are. It will become automatic. You won't need motivation. You won't need external pressure. You won't need reminders. You will just do it because that's what you do. That's who you've become. People want results, but they don't want to put in the work. They want the reward without the discipline. They want the success without the sacrifice. But you don't get to choose the outcome. You only get to choose the process. You don't get to decide if you succeed, if you win, if you reach the top. You only get to decide if you do the work. If you show up every day, if you push yourself beyond your limits. And if you do that long enough, the results will come. But most people will never see those results because they quit before they ever get there. They start strong, but they don't follow through. They give up when things get tough. They let their emotions dictate their actions. And then they wonder why nothing ever changes. They wonder why they always feel stuck. They wonder why they never reach their full potential. It's because they lack discipline. It's because they refuse to do the hard things day in and day out, even when they don't feel like it. Discipline is the foundation. Without it, you have nothing. Without it, you are at the mercy of your feelings, of your impulses, of your weaknesses. But with it, you are unstoppable. With it, you don't need motivation. With it, you don't need external validation. With it, you become the kind of person who does what needs to be done no matter what. And that is what separates those who win from those who don't. That is what makes the difference between success and failure. That is what determines whether you stay average or become something more.